So, the question we're answering today is, what do I do if I only have $100? First of all, we need to work on shifting our mindset um, with only. Let's start to expand. I have $100. Think of it positively, and let's start to think creatively. We need to redefine. Put hashtag redefine in the comments below. So, here are some things that you can do starting right now. I'm going to make the assumption that this $100 is not your last $100, like you've lost your job, you have no unemployment, and you only have $100. That's the assumption I'm starting from. If you are in a position where you're losing your job and you only have $100 or know someone who is, put it in the comments and I'll address that as well, because that has literally happened to our family about 15 years ago, and I do have input on that. But since most people have some kind of income and they only have maybe $100 in the bank or $100 extra, that's what I'm going to be addressing. First of all, like I said, you need to stop saying what you can't do. Show me what you can do. I say that to my kids, and if my kids are watching, put a comment, yeah, mom's annoying. I always say, don't tell me what you can't do, show me how you can. Figure out a way. There's always a way, there's always a solution, no matter how bad. Number 2, think about your current biggest obstacle. So look around you and see what you need to have to be able to move forward at all. It may be you only have $100 and you need gasoline to get to work this week. Well, then you probably need to put it in your gas tank. If you have enough food to at least make reasonable meals, if not, look at some of my other videos where I go through really economical ways to feed a family of 4 on $50. So do the math. If you're less than 4, you can do it with less money. But if you need to get to work, how can you stretch that $100 in your gas tank? And I know it's getting harder. Right now it's $4.25 in Ohio, where I just got my fuel. And I remember back in 2005, 2007, it was up over $4 a gallon then. And the cost of living was lower. And I imagine now it's going to go up even higher. So right now it's March of 2022 when I'm recording this. So if you're looking going, wow, gas prices are more now, you may need to adjust a little bit. But okay, getting back to our point. What is the biggest obstacle? Think about the biggest obstacle that you have to overcome to get somewhere. So like I said, getting your gas would be the biggest obstacle is putting fuel in your tank so that you can get to work, so you can get money to pay for your other things. If you don't have to get to work, let's say you're unemployed, maybe you need that $100 to go out and do some other things. So your solutions and cost cutting. If you need to plan meals, I've got dry beans, which are a couple bucks. I went to Aldi and bought quinoa for about $2. You can get elbow macaroni. You can get canned tuna for under $1, at least I still can. And I got canned chicken, I think it was a couple dollars at Aldi. But with this quinoa, you've got a good source of protein. Tuna, you've got a good source of protein. Chicken, you can put it into casseroles and stretch it. It's shelf stable if you lose power, things like that. Another thing that you may not think about is, okay, I've got some food. I've only got $100 extra. I've got my bills paid. This is all I have left. What do I do? The next phase would be starting to plan for the future. So you need to shift your attitude and think, what can I do with my limited resources? I went to Dollar Tree and I got this nifty little plant shield. You can't put it outside yet in March in Ohio and grow plants, at least not northern Ohio. But you can put this in a window and get it a little bit warmer, even if your apartment or house is cold. You can buy a pot. This, which is going to help you with money management. If you watch my envelope system video, I've been doing the envelope system for 28 years, even before it was like super duper popular. And I've done some modifications, which has helped me to be successful even when we're in a cashless environment like we were 2 years ago. This notebook, which helps with grocery lists, meal planning, and things like that. If you want some really great and easy ways to do meal planning, go watch my meal planning video. You can buy dirt at Dollar Tree, and you can buy packs of seeds. So if you had $100, you can buy a few bags of quinoa, a few cans of vegetables. maybe some dried garbanzo beans. If you cook these in the oven, put salt on them. They're kind of cool, kind of like popcorn. Some seeds to plant in your house so that you will have ongoing tomatoes, green beans, and lettuce to supplement if groceries get ridiculous or if you can't afford gas to go buy them. And then a calendar for planning your meals, like I said in another video. So Dollar Tree is now a $1.25 tree. So I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it'd be about $10 at Dollar Tree, about $10 at the grocery store. This one was Aldi, and I bought my tuna at Kroger. But your local grocery store, of course, would have things. And you still probably have about $75 to $80 left. There's an awful lot that you can do with $100. So start to shift your attitude and think about some of those creative things. The next thing, get proactive. Now that you've met your need for food and hopefully shelter, the next thing you need to do is, how do I get to a better place from here? First step is what you're doing right now, watching this video. So continue to watch videos. Don't get trapped in them. Don't get into the chasm of YouTube, but start watching targeted videos. Again, determine what you need to learn. If you need to learn skills to help you get a different job, start watching those things. Find out about schooling, education programs. If you need to learn about investing, do those kind of things. If you need to learn about cost or time saving, if you need to learn about homeschooling, any of those videos, you can go out and find all kinds of information on the internet, in articles, in YouTube videos. Contact friends, get involved with groups, but get the information that you need to move to the next level. Build your reserves where you can. So with that $75 left over, you probably need to put a chunk of it towards gas if you need to drive to work or the bus or however you get around. And then after that, what do you have left? Do you store it to start paying down a debt? Do you keep it as an emergency fund? What is your next most pressing need? And before you get reactionary and emotional, stop and sit down and kind of do a little pro and con. What would be the best use of this? I can tell you in May of 2007, when I started writing Career Coach, which was my writing company that was actually very successful until I stopped doing it a few years ago to refocus in other areas. I had gone 5 months without food. You'll see it when I share some of my testimony videos, but thumbnail, we had gone 5 months without food, living on $25 a week for a family of 6. My husband had had cancer and was unemployed, and we received no kind of state benefits. We were denied, actually. Long story, but we were denied state benefits and had zero income, as in no paycheck for 5 months. Yes, we used credit cards a little bit, but those ran out around like March. And so we literally were living off of what we could find in our cushions, a tax return that was a couple of $100s, and basically any little, like, I'll come to your house and make meals for you if you'll give me $15 over what it costs. I mean, just little stuff like that. And we struggled through until May. And then there was a group of writers that got together and helped me find an online job. Telecommuting wasn't big back then, and a few other things. And we got restored within 24 hours. And after we were caught up, we had $165 left. And I bought a 2-page website with it. I hired somebody. That was back before all these, build your own website things, at least not good ones. I paid $25 for my domain, and the remaining $140, I bought the services of a web designer and built Writing Career Coach. And from there, I created a business, and I'll share the rest of it another time. But my point is, sometimes you need to go, okay, I know we don't really have any food and we don't have other stuff, but we can live on beans a little bit longer. Within a month, I was earning $2,000 a month with my little job that I found, my telecommuting job, and I was earning a few $100s a month with Writing Career Coach. So that $165 investment paid big dividends. Maybe you have something similar. It's not that it happens overnight, miraculous. Don't have a lottery mentality. Notice I thought through, what will I do? If I had not built the website, I wouldn't have built the business. But there have been other times where I've had to say, I'm not putting money in my business. I need to put it on this other thing. So prioritize is the most important thing. Limit travel, shift your attitude. Control yourself, control your mouth, stop whining. Bottom line. All of us have hard times. Focus outward. Who can you help? I love the book Stone Soup. I read it when I was in elementary school. And if you don't know the story, it's basically about a man. They called them hobos back in which is what I think he's called in the book. He was a traveler who rode the rails, and he went to this town and he had a rock and he said he wanted stone soup. And people were like, well, what is that? What is that? And all he did is he threw this stone in a kettle. It's a clean stone inside of a kettle of water, and said, you know what? This would be great with some vegetables. And somebody goes, I have some carrots. And they brought carrots. And he's like, I wonder if we could have a soup bone. And somebody else brought that. And everybody from the town brought ingredients, and the whole town had food to eat. It's not a socialist story. It's a share what we have story. It's a help your neighbor story. If you know there's somebody next door who could use some beans and you've got enough money to buy 2 pounds of beans, how about you share with them? If you desperately need something, don't whine. Focus on how you can improve and how you can learn so that you're never in this situation again. That's what I'm going to talk about a lot on this channel. But for today, we're talking about I have $100. With $100 or $0, you can change your attitude and mindset. Say, this is going to be the story of my victory. This is the starting point of where I go up from here. And that's what happened to me in those low days, that 5-month period. When I look from where I was there to where I am now, I'll give you a 1-sentence testimony. In March of 2007, I watched my husband go days without food so he could scoop the food off of his plate and put it onto his daughter's plate until they had enough to eat, because none of us had enough. In March of 2022, I went to an event in Dallas and flew first class. That's my story. I never dreamed 15 years ago that I would be able to have my own piece of chicken at dinner, let alone fly somewhere on a whim and get to go first class. I never flew first class really at all until a few months ago. It can happen to anyone. It can happen to you. And it started with me changing my mindset when I was at my lowest point. Stop whining. Help others. In future videos, I'll give more details, but my passion is about helping people, because even when I was at my lowest, when I started to dig out, when my family started to build up, when I got that $2,000 a month job, I was taking green beans and giving them to friends. People I knew that, might have been doing okay, but just like the rest of us, paycheck to paycheck. And I wanted to be a blessing to someone else. I wanted to feel a sense of I can do something for somebody else. I was an encourager. I was a mentor. I was a helper. But as soon as I had that extra 50 cents, I was giving it to somebody else. And I didn't always look for the neediest person. I looked for someone who had need. Put hashtag redefine in the comments below if you understand what I mean. Redefine helping someone else. Look for someone to bless, not just someone to save. All right, so I would also like to hear from you some of the positive ways that your life has changed when you changed your mindset, when you wiggled a little, when you made a small change and saved up the extra that you saved to do something big, when you became more of a planner. Tell me about your story and ask me your questions. And in future videos, I will answer them. I'm really looking forward to what we're going to be doing on this page. I'm excited about the comments you've already left in other places. And I hope this video has helped you. Remember, you don't only have anything. What you have is something. And that something is a thing that can take you to your next breakthrough. So I'm Tiffany. This is the Balanced Life Redefined. And I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.